Hi, I'm James from James Does Things, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why you should be really careful when you buy stamps from eBay, and probably best if you don't do it at all. Um, I'm going to qualify that by saying in the UK. I know in other countries it's different. So for instance, if you live in the US, apparently it is normal. You can buy like rolls of 100 stamps for quite a significant discount. Here in the UK it doesn't really work like that. The only way to get a discount really is to have like a business account with Royal Mail. But there are two other ways of getting a discount which aren't so good, and which I've fallen afoul of, certainly with my eBay business. So that's what this video is going to be about. If by any chance you work for the post office in the UK, or you have knowledge of this in your country if you live outside the UK, or if you live in the UK and you've just got a different view on this, please leave me a comment, let me know, because I'd be interested to know other people's opinions. Okay, so the three types of stamps you can buy on eBay are: one, real stamps. So this is when people have bought more stamps than they need, and they're just selling them off. Maybe they're closing their business, maybe they got whatever. Real stamps just being sold. The second type are real stamps that have been used but not cancelled. And when I say cancelled, I'm going to show you some examples here. So that is a cancel, and that's a manual cancel. That's like been stamped either with a machine or by a human. So I actually suspect that all of these stamps, with the exception, not this one, not this one, and not this one, because these are new barcodey ones. But I suspect that most of these ones on this one, because they're very old, I think someone's scooped those up. I think they've lifted them off. So what people do is they lift them off old envelopes when they've not been cancelled. They steam them off or whatever, or use water to get them off. There are methods, and then they sell them on, and you just have to glue them on, and the glues come off in a way on those which you wouldn't expect to happen. So that's the second type. The third type is just straight up counterfeit stamps. That is ironically what both of these envelopes contain. I've covered up my address on them, but both of these envelopes contained cut price stamps on eBay, which I thought were real. I had a good look at the listings. Everything looked legit. They had lots of good feedback, and everything was fine. Initially I had stamps that looked like this little red one here. That's a first class stamp. So everything looked just like that, and I would say, yeah, 70 to 80% went through fine. I did have several returns, and I had 2 returns on the same day that literally went into the post box at the same time, which made me a bit suspicious. And then after, it was trouble is, it also happened during a postal strike, when there were lots of strike days, so everybody's post was slow. But then after sort of 2-3 weeks, I started getting messages on eBay to say, hi, my Pokemon cards haven't turned up. Where are they? And because that's essentially, I send things in envelopes just like this, and I can use one stamp, and it's fine. So people were saying, well, where's my Pokemon card? Where's my cards? And then I had to refund these people. I thought, oh well, it's just gone missing, or maybe they're scamming me. I've done a different video about people scamming me, but in reality, I think only one of those was actually a scammer, and there were quite a few. There were probably 10 or so that didn't get through. In the end, a lot of them actually got returned, and they had a big label on, and some of them I had to pay for again. It'd say like I had to pay £2.50 as like a fine, and it just said postage not paid, and there's like a little code on it, and basically it turns out that they were detected as being fake. So around the time that had happened, I'd already bought another packet full of these kind of ones, which were large letter stamps with a barcode on. So I sent some of those. I sent 2 on the same day. They both came straight back within a week, which is quite fast for usually if you don't put enough stamps on, or you don't put any stamps on, or it's overweight, it takes ages for it to come back, and eventually things come back. But these came back straight away with a big no, it's not going anywhere, this is fake. So I managed to get a refund off the seller, who said, oh, there's nothing wrong with these stamps. Yeah, send them back, there's nothing wrong with them. I even used them on the envelope I sent to you. It's like, well, you didn't. Or maybe you did, but they've been hand cancelled, so they've not been. These ones have a barcode on, so all the new stamps have a barcode, because we've had stamps. Barcodes have existed for decades. All right, these are the QR codes, they're a bit different, but they could have put barcodes on years ago, and they didn't. But now the counterfeiting is getting so out of hand that they need basically the barcoding them, and it picks. It's done a decent job of picking up the fakes. So that's my experience of it. So how do you tell if the stamps that you're about to buy on eBay are real or not? Right, so the only way to tell really is the price. So if someone's got to buy it now and they're selling stamps for pretty much the same price as retail that you buy on Royal Mail, so for first class stamp that'll be 95p, second class will be 68p, and then you get things like large letter and all the rest of it, which are a bit more expensive. If they're the same prices or near enough, you know, within, I would say 10% of the retail price, then chances are they're real. And in which case there's probably not much point doing it unless you're getting, you know, absolutely enormous bulk and big value. Then if they're, as I would say, half price or less, then they're probably usually the half price and less ones, if they look new and they look perfect, they're fake. And if they say no gum or no glue and that kind of thing, then they're probably real, but they've been steamed off and used once. So it is technically fraud, but as long as you glue them down, you probably get away with it. I don't recommend it though. So another thing you can do is to look at the listing, because what you'll find is, to protect themselves, the sellers will usually put somewhere in the listing, for philatelic purposes only, not for use. So they're just for looking at, they're just for stamp collectors, which is kind of silly because stamp collectors love the real thing. The only interesting counterfeit stamps are like stamps that were counterfeited 100 years ago, you know, or something like when stamps were new. So it's kind of preposterous that, you know, it's a bit like I made another video about eBay scams and about coins. Real coin collectors don't want fake coins. You know, even if they're like the fanciest coin in the world, we don't want it because it's just rubbish. So they're the ways that you can tell, essentially. The price being the biggest giveaway. So if you do want to get your discounted postage, there is a relatively easy way, especially if you're an eBay seller. So we'll go on to that now. Okay, if you want discounted postage, the best thing to do is actually to get a business account with a supplier like Royal Mail, or, you know, a delivery company. I used to use a company for printing that were around the back of where I worked in London, and they specialised in doing things fast. So it's like fast printing. You know, we'll get your stuff sent out the same day, that kind of thing, or within an hour. But they had a deal, I think, with FedEx or with UPS, someone like that, and they said, because I said, oh, that's really expensive, isn't it? Because it is if you're just a retail customer, like a normal punter. And what they said was, if you're a business and you send stuff every day, it's dirt cheap. You get massive economies of scale. So I was approached a few years ago when I had a coin business on eBay, and I was approached by Royal Mail, and they said, like, you know, if you send, it's not that many either. It's like 100 or 150 things a month, which is only like 5 things a day. Then they're interested. Basically, you should get a business account. And he wouldn't give me an exact price, but what he basically said is it's half price. You know, that was, I said, you know, what's the deal? And he was like, it's half price postage. That's it. Now, that makes a massive difference if you're a business. I sell a lot of trading cards, like Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, that kind of thing. And you'll see on eBay, there's lots of people who sell the lower value ones for 99p each, free postage. So when you think that eBay takes 30p plus about 13%, so straight away that's 43p gone. And then if you think, even with a second class stamp, you've got to pay 68p as a retail customer, and then maybe another 10p for your packet and your top load of the protection for the card, then it's going to cost, I think I worked out, it cost me something like £1.15 to send a stamp that I sold for 99p. You know, and that's before even the cost of the card, which could have been anything from 2p to 30p. So all the people you see who sell trading cards online for 99p, if they're, the only ways you can do it essentially are to rely on people buying several at once, so that 30p eBay fee suddenly kind of becomes less. That's a transaction fee, not a per item fee. So if you sell 10 cards, you still only pay one lot of 30p. But the eBay fee will still apply, the 13% will still apply. But then obviously your postage it might go up a bit, but it's not going to go up 10 times. So either you get economies of scale that way, which doesn't always work. I get a lot of people just buy one card. But if you, all of a sudden, if you take that 68p and you make it 34p, then all of a sudden, so it's 64p, 74p, 13%. So all of a sudden you might be making 10, 12, 15p from that card, which doesn't sound like very much, but if you can buy the cards in bulk for 2p each, second hand, and sell them at 15p each, that's a really good markup. You know, especially if you're playing the long game, which everyone says you should, and if you're doing like long tail, as they call it, long tail sales, which trading cards is, or it can be if you want it to be, then it goes from being a kind of potluck awful business model to actually that's a really sound business model. So you can see the appeal of getting cheap postage, and why certainly I looked straight away to try and reduce my postage costs by buying stamps on eBay, and why now I'm going to be looking at getting hopefully looking at getting an actual business account, because it takes something like that. If you're selling more expensive things, then it's just saving a bit more money. It's just another way of saving money, another economy of scale. But for me, as a selling trading cards, that makes something that's totally unviable to actually quite profitable. So yeah, so I might do a follow-up video to this if I get some comments, and also if I decide to, well, if I do get a business account, I'll let people know how much it actually costs. But yeah, if you found this useful, or if you think I'm talking rubbish and I've missed a load of stuff out, then please leave me a comment, let me know what you think, let me know how it really is, especially if you work for the post office. That'd be really good to know. I do chat to our local postie sometimes, so he tells me little things from our town. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing if you find this content useful, and yeah, have a nice day. Bye bye.